everybody, welcome back. Today we're taking a look at one of the all-time great shoot-em-ups, and that's Batsugun for the Sega Saturn. It was developed by Toaplan, who had already developed a number of great shooters like Truxton and Zero Wing, and it was originally published by Taito and released in arcades in 1993, with the distinction of perhaps being the first ever manic style shooter, which would later be further popularized by Cave. This Saturn version was released in 1996 in Japan only, and it was published by Banpresto. Toaplan had already closed its doors by that point, so the console translation was handled by Gazelle, and I'd say they did a perfect job, even improving on the arcade version in a few spots. Like I said, Batsugun is classified as a manic shooter, which is like a normal shooter but with more elaborate enemy and bullet patterns, faster gameplay, and a smaller hitbox on your ship, kind of the precursor to the bullet hell style. It features 3 playable ships that all have different shot types, bombs, and pilots, best of which is definitely Iceman, who looks an awful lot like Val Kilmer, so he gets bonus points for that. One thing that sets Batsugun apart from the other early 90s shooters is that there's a leveling system. You can collect power-up icons to build up your shot, but as you destroy enemies, you also build up an experience meter, and each time you level up, your shot evolves into a more powerful and destructive form. In addition to that, you also have a limited number of screen-clearing bombs, and it's best to hold on to them for the boss battles, which get pretty intense. You have 2 gameplay modes to choose from in Batsugun: the classic arcade mode, which is 5 stages long and is more or less Batsugun as it originally was, and the special mode, which makes a few changes like a smaller hitbox, more powerful bombs, and some changes to the visuals. And instead of ending after 5 stages, the game continues to loop as the difficulty increases. On the whole, Batsugun is a fantastic shooter and well worth its reputation. It's actually one of my favorite shooters for the Saturn, which is saying a lot. I first played this game in the arcade and immediately knew I had to have a copy of my own, and I wasn't disappointed. This is an excellent port of the arcade classic. The graphics in Batsugun are pretty good, again at least on par with the arcade, though it's my understanding that issues with slowdown from the arcade version were fixed in this one. This isn't an overly imaginative game as far as level designs go. You're not going to see any elaborate star bases or anything, but what is here is at least fairly well detailed and colorful. The enemy and boss designs are really cool. They actually give me kind of a Dodonpachi feel. And the action is really fast-paced, again with no slowdown, which is greatly appreciated. You're also given several different display options to suit whatever kind of monitor you may be using. The sound design is also really good, and you also have a couple of options for the soundtrack as well. You can stick with the original arcade soundtrack, which is awesome, with a lot of high-energy tracks that perfectly fit a shooter like this. And there's an arranged soundtrack, which improves on the sound quality, but takes the teeth out of most of the songs. They're both good, but I tend to stick with the original. Overall, while I won't deny that Batsugun looks and sounds really good, the main selling point is definitely the incredible gameplay. So, this is an amazing shooter, and one I definitely recommend to shooter fans. It's a classic. Unfortunately, this is yet another Saturn game that sells for exorbitant amounts of money online. We're talking multiple hundreds of dollars, which is way too much to ask for the vast majority of us. So if you can play a digital version, then I'd say go for that. Or if you find it in an arcade by some crazy coincidence, then drop a few quarters in and get ready to enter the danger zone. It's Batsugun, and it's excellent.